I helped to create the 2D Larry Boy animated show, Larry Boy Animated Adventures.
I am that hero!
That was one of the first Flash animated cartoons anywhere. And it was about the time that I think it was what Cartoon Network was doing, Foster's Home for Imaginary Friends.
You don't understand. I really have to get a strike?
Which was the very first Flash, for the big studios. We kind of predated that with Larry Boy. And so there was innovation, and I got to direct that. I was the art director on that. I kind of was the show creator with Phil. And so, that and doing those 4 to 5 videos, plus storyboarding on the feature film before that, and actually doing computer animation for the first time before that on Esther, the video Esther. That all was, there were so many new things. I was going in a radically new direction almost every single day. Yeah. There was some that was repeat as far as like, oh, do some character design. Oh, and it's of a leek or, it's vegetables and fruit and they have no arms and legs. So like that part of it was not challenging. It was very easy on that side, artistic side. But on the technology, on the job responsibility side, almost everything was new. And so that part of it was, and then working with a small team was something that was kind of addicting too. I had a little bit of that experience in Florida at the Disney studio there because we were a lot smaller than the California studio, but this was even smaller than that and even more lower budget. Now they were making good money at that time. So I must admit, we didn't really feel the budget so much. And really it was already created that these were low budget. Like, you know what I mean? Like you didn't expect to sort of do like, oh, we need 13 costume changes for Larry in this show, or we're going to add a spaceman character. You know what I mean? Like it was built in that this is your cast. They're already designed. They have no arms and legs. Deal with it. That's your box that you're in. Right. And so it was already a very low budget show for all those reasons. So, they ended up going bankrupt is what happened. And so
after Jonah, right? Jonah was
the first feature. And by the time the expenditures on everything, they shut off the videos, which making the videos, which was the big money maker to make the feature film. And that was not a good decision. Because they just staffed up like crazy. Got to almost like, a small Disney size, hundreds of people.
Well, it looks good. Literally, like it still holds up. So there's some things that are just from that period of animation, if you watch anywhere, that, now you see it done a lot better. But there's things like the water simulations look really good. Like there's a lot that just looks really solid. And I was like, this should have done the opposite of what it did, because it looks as good as any of the other animated movies coming out around that time.
Yeah, it should. I agree. And then the second one looked very good too. And I think it actually was a funner story too, which was the Pirates That Don't Do Anything. And I worked on both of those, and then the Larry Boy 2D adventure. Yeah. So, I mean, it's a part of my career that not everybody asks about. So thank you.
Yeah, I had to. I was telling my wife right before I came up, I was like, yeah, I worked on this, and then I was listing like VeggieTales and 3-2-1 Penguins, and I was like, that was where I got because that's what I was watching as a kid. Like I watched Disney, I watched those movies, but I was always watching, 3-2-1 Penguins. I'm watching all these different, big idea movies. Like that was, for a kid growing up in a Christian family, that was Disney for us, for all intents and purposes.
I know. And I love that too. I love hearing those stories. I have students now because I teach at the university level, and, they're a little younger than you, but still they were kind of on the tail end of that, or their younger, older brothers and sisters were definitely you. And so they were families that grew up with that. And hearing that side of it too is really fun, because you go to the California industry, the studios, the Disneys, the Pixars, they don't talk about VeggieTales. They don't want to hear about it.
It's a shame. Yeah,
it is. And so
there's
the
so much to
Midwest
learn.
And the South kind of knew that world a lot more than I think California did.